Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today is the behind the scenes video of the 20 more doors in vanilla Minecraft video. Now I have to say one thing before we begin, thank you ever so much for all of the support that I got on that video. It really was incredible. I was very nervous pushing out that upload because the first one went down so well that I thought it was going to be a dodgy sequel. You know how it is in the movie world, often when the first film is good, the second one isn't so good. But thankfully, all of you seem to really enjoy the second one that I put out, and I am very happy about that. But anyway, first things first, let me run you through how this works. Essentially, this behind the scenes is me talking through all of the doors that we have in the straight line, and I'll just run you through them, why I like them, and also, when possible, give links to tutorials on where you can find them. Now, as always with these sorts of things, the first door is always the simplest, and this one is definitely no exception. All we have is a pressure plate and a trapdoor. Now, the only thing is, I forgot that trapdoors have their own hitboxes, and that meant that what I had to do when starting off is I had to start walking slightly off to the left and then correct myself as I went along, which was a little bit problematic, and it did cause a few issues when recording. Now, the one after this looks like an empty doorway, but actually if we take out this pressure plate, you will see we can't make our way through, and that is just because we have got the fence post in the way. So what this one does is it moves the fence post across, replaces it with a block, and then places back the fence post so that nothing else can follow us through. Really quite a cool little mob-proof door that I really like indeed. After this, we have got a very simple 2x1 slime block door that when we walk over the pressure plates, they drop down into the floor. And I really like these just because all of the redstone is underground and all of the redstone is very simple indeed. Now, the only problem that we've got is obviously the whole archway needs to be made of obsidian or some other immovable object. And also when you walk through, you get slowed down by the slime blocks, and I don't particularly like that. Now, the next one along caused me so many problems when recording this. Essentially what we had is we had a minecart on the other side that I would right click through, meaning that we don't have to travel through the lava. Now originally the minecart was on this spot right here, but as you can see, if we travel a little bit further away, squid will begin to spawn inside the lava and it will knock the minecart off. How ridiculous is that? It ruined so many recordings and I couldn't work out why the minecart was never there. So there we go, I ended up solving it by placing the minecart here, but it was odd. It took about 20 times for me to realise what was happening. Very strange, Minecraft. This one is probably one of the more boring doors of the video. Minecart travels over the detector rail, opens up the pistons, then you fly on through. All pretty boring, and nowhere near as exciting as some of the ones that are further down the line. Now this one is just a very simple little slime block door that lifts up the blocks for us. Fairly cheap, doesn't use a lot of resources, but it is horrendously ugly. I would say this is probably one of the most ugly doors that we had in the video, so I don't think I'm going to be building many of these in my base. So moving on, we have got the crowd favorite. This is the TNT door. What happened was the TNT drops down, blows up all of the wool, and obviously leaves all of the obsidian behind. One of the main problems though is that often it blew up all of the redstone, the entire dispenser, and all of the other pieces as well, which means that every time I wanted to re-record the little clip, I had to rebuild this entire thing. Was quite frustrating, I have to admit. This one here sparked a little bit of interest in the comment section. It uses a bug in Minecraft that means that when blocks are moving, if you just hold W, you end up walking through them. It is fairly interesting. I mean, it's not the prettiest door in the world, and once again, don't think I'm going to be building it in my base just because of all the noise that it creates, but it is quite a cool little concept, and if you look at it from this angle, if we had some form of pressure plate that just shifted it when you walk over it, it could actually work very nicely indeed. Now after that, we have got the simple 3x3 falling sand door. You've seen all of those before, and they are pretty cool, but nowhere near as cool as some of the other stuff that we have in the line. Now after that, we have got the flush 3x3 trapdoor that was designed by CodeCrafted. He built this about a year ago, and I'm very surprised to see that it is still working, because obviously old mechanics, you know, they often bug out and things stop working. But as you can see, it works wonderfully and is extremely compact. So if you want a tutorial and a showcase on that one, links to those will be down in the description. After I died in the end, I respawned next to this bed, and a little bit of trivia for you is that this was one of the few bits of cutout footage, because I actually respawn over here, and then I walk over, realign myself, then continue walking. That was completely cut from the video, because I thought it affected the flow, and I'm very happy that I did that. Now moving on, we have got the double wooden doors. There's a tiny bit of redstone to do with these, but it's not particularly interesting, and I featured it in the 10 redstone contraptions that you will need video, so if you want to see that, a link to that will be down in the description. Now the next one along was one of the editing trickery things, because I set those on fire, and then it took about 15 seconds for the leaves to disappear, so I had to speed that up in post-production, and some of you noticed that, but there was a big conspiracy as to whether or not I had sped it up, or if I'd used the game tick value, or if I had just left it running naturally. There was a big argument, so I can promise you that I sped it up after I had made the video. Another one of the more boring doors here. This is just a 2x2 flush, and what? That's not so boring anymore, jeez. That, funnily enough, wasn't meant to happen. Like I say, this is one of the more boring ones. You walk over it, it opens up, then you can walk on through. After that, we have got ourselves a little 2x2 hipster door using the new slime blocks that conveniently fired us up into the air, and I managed to sync that up to the music, which is always a bonus. Then after that, we have got one of the most popular doors I featured in the video, and don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen, a video on this will be coming out soon because I really like it as well. What it does is it shifts the fence posts so that they don't connect up, and then you can walk on through nice and fine. After that, we have got a very old contraption indeed. This is the 2x2 hidden secret staircase door. I uploaded this about a year and a half ago, and it just came up in my recommended videos, and I was like, I need to put that in my latest 20 more doors in 100 seconds video, because I absolutely love this thing. Then after that, we have got the 2x2 tiny hidden staircase that drops us down onto this level into what I am going to call the squid door. Obviously, I didn't plan this. I didn't want for there to be hundreds upon hundreds of squid in this door, but I thought it looked fairly cool in the video with all of those squid floating about. This is the 4x4 water door, and as you can see, when we walk on through, all of the water gets taken away, so then we can move on through it just fine. Moving on, we have got ourselves another one of those 2x2 boring doors, and then we have ourselves the false alarm. This got a few of you, which I'm very happy to hear about. I saw a little bit of the rage in the comment section, which I always like to see. But then after that, we got the main topic of conversation, the ghost block door, and this is actually very simple indeed. It uses a little bit of a command block circuit down here using a super clock and also some falling sand entities. It all sounds fairly complicated, but what I'll do is I'll link a tutorial to this one by the Farlanders down in the description, so you can check that out for yourselves, build one for yourself, because it is really cool, something fun to play around with and mess with your friends a little bit. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that is 20 more doors in 100 seconds behind the scenes. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little bit about the redstone mechanics behind this. Tutorials for pretty much all of the doors can be found in the description. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.